I think my iPad knows whenever I'm trying to not necessarily rush, but when I don't have as much time as I did earlier in the day or whatever, because I have like an hour to an hour and a half before I have to go to the library, and I could have uploaded the cut that I should upload the first cut, but I deleted it. The only reason why I deleted it because it was before I knew when I was going to the library. I thought at first earlier today I'd go like at 3. But now I have to wait a little bit longer because someone else is taking me. I thought originally my grandmother, but now it's not. But I was almost done too. I should have uploaded the first cut. Oh, in the first cut because I hadn't finished the Young Avengers book, so I was gonna say and I was doing a technical review because I had read it before, and honestly, nothing has changed with that book, so I could have just uploaded that first cut. But it seems incomplete, especially as I've completed reading the Avengers book. All right, so I'm gonna try and make this also quick because I first 2 cuts were also I was saying the same 3 sentences. Let's get with it. Let's get with it. Let's get on with it. Whistle by Whistle, a Gotham City hero. What the hell? Yeah, a new Gotham City hero. I actually like this book. If you're really skeptical about the DC Inc. young adult books, I would say check this out. It should be at your local library. It starts out really annoying, but it gets pretty good and pretty interesting as you go along. But I mean, there's no real reason to pick this up. I can't say like, oh, this is like, oh, the first appearance of this character. Oh, it's it's really interesting and it's adequate enough. It's a palate cleanser. Next up, we have Before Watchmen, Rorschach, and Comedian. Now, on the one hand, I am one of those people, I'm kind of on the same boat as people are when they say that I wish that we had, it'd be really nice if we lived in a world where we just had Watchmen by Alan Moore, and no sequels, no spin-offs, no nothing. Because even though I like this book, and actually I really like the Rorschach story in here more than the Comedian one, I could still say, yeah, I wouldn't mind if this book didn't exist. Not necessarily it didn't exist, but the Watchmen characters weren't used in here. What I have always kind of said is that I wouldn't mind if we had the sequels to Watchmen. It was the same thing, everything bad, but it wasn't tied to Watchmen. You didn't use the Watchmen characters. You used your own characters, and honestly, probably could do that with a lot of these books. Honestly, a lot of the books. I'm trying to think, but I liked all the Watchmen books I've read. And of course, Watchmen the original is the best out of the best. It's best of the best. You can probably stop after that, and you won't miss anything. But I like Doomsday Clock. I like this, and I've read almost everything so far. I've read the Rorschach with Tom King. I've read this, of course, and then Watchmen, the Doomsday Clock. And again, I liked Watchmen. Obviously, I liked Doomsday Clock. I liked this, and I will continue to read it before Watchmen series. But it's one of those things where I'm like, again, why does this exist? Does it have any point to it? Not really. Try to get it separate. It's a book I own. I want to turn that to the library. They'll be like, oh, is this a donation? I'll be like, no, it's not. I feel bad because it's honestly a book I also do recommend too. The Jetsons, absolutely boring. It gets a little bit interesting as it goes along, the last 2 issues, but boring. I don't know if it's because I know more about Flintstones when it comes to Hanna-Barbera cartoons, or I have more of like Flintstones. I have not watched a single. I've only watched 1 episode, and that was a long time ago. I don't even remember what happened in the episode. That's how long ago it was of the Flintstones, and I haven't watched anything of the Jetsons. And I always kind of like I guess I like the concept more in Flintstones than I did in Jetsons. I like the characters more. The characters are more well defined. I feel because a lot of people know who Fred Flintstone is thanks to Fruity Pebbles commercials. Yes, but a lot of people know who Fred Flintstone is and Wilma Flintstone and all those characters. And do the Jetsons. I mean, it's like that because I have more. Technically, I have more of a knowledge of who the characters are. No, but and also this is a reread. So this, so getting the actual review, this is comic book politics at its best. And satire at its best. Not at its best, like nothing else compares to it, but like this modern. Let's go that way. This is a modern satire at its best. It's again like with Golden Rage. I've had kind of an epiphany that maybe I should check out those books that people say aren't too great, or this author doesn't write any good books. Maybe I should give him his fair shake. And I do, but I feel like I've fallen off, more and more. Like, I feel like I'm trying to say to myself, no, don't buy this book because of this reason. Buy this book instead. But I still want to pick up this book. Say it was between this and this. Let's say Jimmy Palmiotti was actually, like, he wasn't a weirdo on Twitter. Let's say everyone likes Jimmy Palmiotti. I had these two books to buy, and I would rather pick up Flintstones than Jetsons. Well, back in the day, I was like, well, Mark Russell is super controversial, so I'll pick up this. I will not pick up this. I'll pick up this. But then if I pick up this more than this, and let's say the library had this, I didn't have this, and I realized, oh, I actually like this. I didn't like this, so I'm glad I picked that one up. It's one of those things. But I'm always kind of like, should I or shouldn't I? Or I could get this instead, and yada yada, and no, I'm gonna regret it. I feel like I should get over that, and like not only like, because I shouldn't pick it up just because they said it wasn't good. If everyone's saying it's terrible, like everyone across the board said it's awful, fine, I won't pick it up, obviously. But if this guy says it's good that I still do trust, I shouldn't ignore him just because this guy said it was bad. That's what I'm trying to say, more or less. Is that these guys say it's really good, but they say everything is good. A lot of those kind of more controversial books that these guys say are terrible. But maybe I should listen to them, at least try it out, and see if I like it. Because a lot of those books I have liked, like Ms. Marvel, Kamala Khan, these guys don't like it. These guys do, and I do too. So, Wonder Woman by Meredith Finch. A damn good follow-up to Brian Azzarello's run. Not as good, obviously, but a worthy enough follow-up. And honestly, if you're tired of the current Wonder Woman books, and you have not read this run yet, and especially not the Brian Azzarello run, pick this up instead. Pretend that this is the most, if you like, oh, I want a new Wonder Woman book, what's currently going on, just, ignore that, and then just pick this up. Like, I like this is an Elseworlds book, or something like that, I don't know. Because I feel like some people, like, don't pick up the older books because they're older books, but I think that's the case. I think I was just spouting off a whole bunch of bullshit. Teen Titans, yep, it was volume 2. I am pissed they'll have volume 3. They may or may not. Oh, and Wonder Woman volume 8 I'll have to wait a little bit longer for, because it's checked out of the lending library, so I will not have it this time around. And maybe next time around, which I'm blaming about. But this one, they're saying no library has volume 3, at least on the catalog. I'm gonna get more in depth, like really, really make sure they don't have it. Like, I mean really make sure they don't have all my tricks and trick the trade. But yeah, we'll see. But this is a damn good run. I actually highly recommend this run. It's one of those things like with Wonder Woman where it follows up after the Benjamin Percy when it comes to this. And I would say to pick up the entire like, Benjamin Percy's and this too, if you can afford it, because this is damn good, and it utilizes new characters and it actually makes me care about new characters, like new modern characters, new characters from a modern DC book, which is unheard of. Green Arrow by Benjamin Percy. No, this is not planned. This is the way I stacked them. It's purely coincidental, but I really do enjoy this run. Except for when it gets preachy. When it gets preachy, I really, hate this book. Like, honestly, I actually hate this book. But when it doesn't, when it lays off the preachiness and it gets more to, actually telling a story, I do like this run. But, again, it's a preachiness that holds me back from saying it's a really good, it's worth, it's really good. I think everyone will like it. No, it's kind of like one of those books where I'm I always feel need to say that, no matter what run we're on. No matter which volume we're on for Benjamin Percy's run. Because as each volume has come out, it's less and less preachy. Like, this one, I would say, next to volume 3, was the least preachiest. And it was actually, it actually seemed like it was an actual story, too. This book, I have not a whole lot to say about it. It's not as good as I remember it being, but it's still good. I would still recommend it. It's Grant Morrison. It feels like I think it had to have been early 2000s. I believe this was coming out right around the time or before of Infinite Crisis. I remember near my condition vaguely he had said something about this is originally supposed to be Infinite Crisis, or the first book after Infinite Crisis, or whatever the hell, or lead into. I don't remember, but this was good. I do like it enough, but I feel like I feel like I liked it a lot better the first time around. And I did the second. It's still good. Still check it out, but it's I don't know what it was. It was kind of funny. I kept reading it. And I was like, I thought I really enjoyed this book. Like, I thought it was like a damn good. If it was a damn good book, and I was like, could not wait until the next volume came out, and it was really investing. And I think what it was I was remembering the good stories are in here, and then I wasn't remembering the bad. Like the Clarion one I hated, and like. The Frankenstein one is a bit too convoluted. I still liked it, but and then my favorite will always be the King Arthur one. And Bullet Tear was pretty good too this time around. Sandman Volume 9. This, even back then, even when I was a Sandman skeptic, I really liked this run. This is my favorite run. My favorite volume, not run. My favorite volume. Even when I was a Sandman skeptic, this is my favorite volume. And it still is my favorite volume. But even like now, I like it a lot more because I'm really into Sandman. So I appreciate this book a lot more because I'm now like a huge fan of Sandman. I have gotten into it a lot more than I was before, and I'm actually really liking it. I'm not like really annoyed with it. But I still did not like my least favorites is still Fables and Reflections, followed by, to a lesser degree, the Volume 8. Whatever the one, the World's End one it was called? Yeah, World's End. Right? I can actually check here. To make sure. Yes. The Names by Peter Milligan. A criminally underrated book. Now, this isn't one of those books that it's going to be like the next 100 Bullets or the next, like... No, it's just a damn good enough book. It's a palate cleanser, but less so than... Like, it has a lot more to offer than palate cleanser would. It's still like, but I can't. It's not like the best of the best or anything like that. It's just a damn good. It's just a damn interesting book that I do recommend. If you like crime comics, you probably won't be disappointed by this book. It does get a bit convoluted and like convoluted, not out there. It does get a bit convoluted as it goes along. There's a lot going on, but I still enjoyed it. It did not detract from my enjoyment of the book. It's slightly, but not too much. So, not like noticeably so. Where I was like, I don't want to read it. I don't want to read this anymore. No, I still wanted to see how everything ended. It was still, again, like and it's only $16.99 for a pretty thick trade. So, you can't go wrong paying that cheap for a book that thick. And of course, my dog's barking. You know, if I upload the cut, I've been fine. But no, I decided that I just had to make sure that you guys knew that I finished the Young Avengers book now. First cut was just fine. There was like a couple things I didn't like, but first cut was just fine. I should have just uploaded it. Alright, Superman Son of Kal-El. Because another thing is I have to keep regurgitating the same exact shit. This book, now people, so it's a good example of like, people on this side said this book was okay enough, and then people on this side, it was good enough, and it was good, people liked it, but I didn't love it, you know, whatever the hell. But people on this side absolutely hated it. But I think they hated it as it went along, and they would say that yeah, this is not as bad as it gets, because I've heard like really bad things about this book, and we're not even close to getting to that part of this book yet. So, as is, I actually enjoyed this book, and again, it's one of those things where I am a lot more lenient with this kind of book than a lot of other people are, and yeah, I guess that I'm a lot more lenient with these kinds of books, and I feel like yeah, there's something else I'm trying to say, but I don't know. You guys get the point. I'm just gonna assume you guys get the point. Alright, Superman Kryptonite Nevermore. One of those books I've read again. Oh my god, there's so much better than I remember being. Pick this up right now. It's a $40 book. It's worth every penny. Get the deluxe edition, honestly. It's actually deluxe edition is, this is standard size hardcover, so I guess it is a little bit expensive for it. But as far as like, it's more like the book. I think for the price of a book, it's more like people walk away from it like I really enjoyed this book. So it's worth every penny, not, oh, this book shouldn't have been as expensive as it is. And I'm kind of on this, I'm in more or less, like, both parties, but I would not have wanted to pay $40 for this book. myself. I'm glad I got it for free, so I was a little bit biased there, but I'm still, I still I wouldn't have been as pissed if I had read it and I hated it, obviously, I guess that's my point. But yeah, this is one of those books I read first time I didn't really like, read the second time I was like, what the hell is wrong with me? I absolutely enjoy this book. It's one of those books that came out in 71 and felt like it came out in 77, like when comics were starting to change. No, not Watchmen change, but like, starting to get there, you know what I mean? Gradually so. Like, it wasn't super ridiculous. It was ridiculous, but not like super and stupid ridiculous, and it wasn't like super dated with a whole lot of dialogue and like a lot of like, I punched this man and he flies back, and like that kind of like explaining what's going on in the artwork. A lot of the isms I hate in older comics are almost non-existent here. And it's in that sense that I feel like I was surprised that this book came out in 71. Next up, we have Batman Reptilian by Garth Ennis, and this was like Kryptonite Nevermore. Less so, because I think I hated Kryptonite. I mean, actually, I think I absolutely hated Kryptonite Nevermore the first time I read it. But this one was a lot better than I remember it being. Yeah, Kryptonite Nevermore, I absolutely highly recommend, along with this one. Less so than so Batman Reptilian is a 17 out book, and Kryptonite Nevermore is all ages, so just keep that in mind. But I think you should know by right here, the DC Black Label. Yes, very good, very investing too. Surprisingly investing. I remember I was kind of like I thought the book was too slow. Here I was like, no, like this book is very fast paced, and like each issue would take me like 5 minutes to read. That's how fast paced it was, and how smoothly it runs along as the book goes along. Next up is Night Witches by Garth Ennis, and this is a war comic that I actually liked, which is insane for me. That's like saying that there's a political book that I liked, or it's not. That's also the best example. I'm not a huge fan of war comics. It's never been. Oh, I haven't turned it off yet. Never mind. But war comics have never really appealed to me. I've never been a huge fan of war comics, movies, anything like that. It's a concept that's never really interested me, except for World War II, which this does take place. It is a World War II comic, but even then I was like, eh. But yeah, this one was insanely good. This is Garth Ennis, this is my pick of the week. My pick of the week. This is almost there. This is the closest Garth Ennis has gotten to being as good as his Preacher run. He's gotten to, in a second. Yeah, this is his Preacher run. Hype, boring. Princeless, really damn good, really damn kids book. If your kid likes fantasy books, give him this. Another Castle. Guess what? It's the same as the other one I got. It's like an older printing or something like that. Let's just say that, because when I checked was new printing that I got, it was really weird. Doctor Strange, still as boring to remember being. Doctor Strange run, pretty damn good, but everything else I was bored with. Even at the end I was bored with it. Star Wars by Kieran Gillen, really damn good. Ultimate Human. Ultimate book, so the ultimate book. And take with that with what you will. Not as in like when you think of ultimate book, you think of this book. I would say still check it out though. Angela's Assassin, surprisingly good, a hidden gem. Check it out. Miss Marvel, guess what? I like this character. I'm not apologizing. Avengers Children's Crusade, really damn good. The 2 stories at the end seemed like they're out of place because it was kind of like it seemed like at the end you have an epilogue story. No, this should have been like it was a one shot and an issue of some material from an X-Men comic. They should have had that in the middle, not at the end. Really jarring for me. Not Ultimate Iron Man. Iron Man by Kieran Gillen. A lot better than I remember beginning. I got volume 2. And that's insane to me because when I first read it, I didn't even want to think about getting volume 2. Paul is Dead when the Beatles lost McCartney. Really damn interesting book. A little bit like convoluted. It's a lot all over the place, but super good. Like very interesting concept brought in. Like, a very interesting theory. And not theory, what do I call it? I don't know, but you guys know what I mean. Brought to life in an amazing comic book. I'm glad I have the one he did for Jim Morrison even more. 24 panels. As anthologies go, this is an anthology. It's exactly how it was born. It's like, it had a couple stories I liked, but mostly just kind of seemed like it was just there. It exists. It's a comic book that exists. Twig, surprisingly good. I shouldn't say surprising, because Scotty Young. I really like Scotty Young. But when you look at this, it's kind of like, oh, it's one of those books. Then yeah, it kind of is, but it's cute enough. I guess that coming. They should make that into a movie, not Strange World. If you got that instead of Strange World, to be like, that's the kind of fantasy books, the kind of adventure comics we need for kids. Not Strange World, where it's just boring and then it's not really thought out well. Just adapt Twig word for word, and you got a box office success in your hands. And then make it from Disney. Don't make it from like Laika, because you won't get any money, because no one knows about Laika, unfortunately. Shudder by Joe Kimimajay. He's supposed to his name so weird, like you can't see it. It's covered by that. But I shouldn't say he's supposed to. It's his last name, but like he just has a pen name. It's Joe Keatings. Joe Keating. Just I don't know. It's not a complaint. It's just it's something I always found weird. But this comic is good, but not great. I felt that way about all the previous volumes. And it's just like, there's something in there that's missing, but not to the point where I'm like, I'm not at the point where I wouldn't recommend it. I still do recommend it, but it's not like absolutely amazing or anything like that. Then we got Copperhead. Really, really damn good. I read this before, so I did not make it. If I hadn't read this before, this may pick up the week hands down. But I don't include books that are rereads as my pick of the week. No Mercy. Very weird, awkward the way the characters talk sometimes, and so it's extremely noticeable here, but not as much as in the previous volumes. It's weird. The previous volumes, it was almost like it was written by a different author here, because I didn't notice it at all previously, and then here I did. It was really weird. And this Mom book by Emilia Clarke, just awful. There's a little bit of intrigue in here, but oh my god, like, it's absolutely, like, if you want to know why people hate modern comics, like, if you're like, oh, I don't understand why you didn't like this book, read this. Then you'll know. This is a secret to why comics suck now. Or, not every, and I'm not saying every comic, I'm just saying, like, why people say that, I mean. Because, again, I'm in the ballpark, I'm in the middle. Yeah, I don't like this comic that other people didn't like, but I also hesitate to say that every comic book sucks now. That's it. It's 22 minutes. Wait, 32 or 32? 22. I have to do this because I can't see it.